I like this one. I think it's very, very cool. And by the way, one of these days I'm going to do this. But just drop me in any city with my driver's license at $100 on Monday. By Friday, I'll have 3 coaching clients at $1,500 a month. You know, again, a person who's going to, thank you, boom, straight. I'm like, who is that guy again? So there you go, right? Again, just take it and then just adjust it for you, right? Because he did it. I'll buy, I think, 3 properties, or, you know, I'll have $1 million of real estate with no money down, or something to that effect, right? So anyways, but again, guys, just take this stuff and tweak it to suit, and it needs to stay in integrity, right? There's ones that are going to suit me, and there are ones that are going to suit you. Don't, you know, make sure this is something that you feel good about, and a value proposition that you feel suits your personality. I only coach in Vancouver that works off 7% of your profits. Notice in brackets, okay? Conveniently, they'd find this out after they speak to you. If you ran that ad, do you think you might get a little bit of response? You're the only coach in your city that operates off 7% of profits. Do you think there's some business owners sitting there right now? Gosh, I'm sick of these marketing guys, man. I wish I could find somebody who would just work with me, and then I'll give them a percentage of the back end because I get all this opportunity. I just need to get focused. I need to be held accountable. This is so obvious to me, but I'm struggling because I got my kids and my family, and I've got these paradigms that I can't seem to break through. Isn't there anybody out there that does this? Right? As he's reading your ad. That would, and by the way, but here's the good news. You charging your, the way that you would position this is that in order for you to live, it costs you $120,000 a year. 10 grand a month, 120 grand a year, and you only take on 10 clients at any one time. Do you want to be one of the 10? They say yes, they say no. Okay, well, great. Guess what? You just have to cover my hard costs, right? So I'm not going to profit anything. It's going to cover $997, $1,000 a month is what you need to contribute to make sure that I don't have to shut my business down, because that's going to be no fun for either of us. Pay me $1,000 a month, and the contingency, and I used 7. You can go 20, 10, whatever. Shit, what's going on over there? Go to the other room. Adrian, you're supposed to be walking in that other room, or what? Got Rocky's music. Exclusivity by referral only. Selection. Guys, I'm going to give you these slides. If you look at this last one, I was listening to you guys do the printer examples. You pretty much were coming up with this, right? Boom. Basically, the one-stop shop. Look, a few more. I'm going to scoot through these. That Facebook guy, that Facebook gal. Networking. The first lady of networking is a client that a lady did a lot of work with in Vancouver. Profit. I'll find you $10,000. You might recognize that one from somewhere. $10,000 in your pocket in only 18 days. This comes from another headline. I can't remember exactly what it is, but I can't remember what it is. But anyways, it's once again, guys, you just go to, okay, if you're liking what you're seeing here and you're like, wow, I'm just not seeing the one that's right for me, I'd like to toy with this. Go to your e-learning system and get the 100 greatest headlines of all time Jay Abraham came out with. It's right there on your e-learning system. Just use that and start playing. So anyway, the general new business, right? Hands up for our military folk. Ex-military. And even last year we had a whole bunch. Sean, I think your hand's supposed to go up, ex-military folks. Guys, can you just have a hand for our ex-military boys and girls? Agreed. So again, I'm not ex-military, so if I run around and call myself the general new business, I don't know if that, it's a little bit out of integrity, right? Doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense. But, you got 34 years in the military, that might be absolutely perfect. At the same time, you might, be done with the military and go, no, I want to move on, and that's something in my past. So I like the idea of coach. That's who I am, but I'm the mental toughness coach. Again, it's up to you. Anyway, speaker coach for small business coaches. Combo, the general of new business for accountants, right? So you kind of just took two of these and then combined them together to even more refine. Like you're the guy who's going to help accountants get new business, and then you're using the general as your catch cry. So there you go, guys. Just thinking outside the box. You want to hit 7 figures. This is something that, we help business coaches get clients, period. You might recognize that one. So there you go. Okay, so step number 2, conversions. Again, you're going to so step number 1 is you got to get the leads. You got to get in front of these folks, right? Real simple. Now, all of a sudden, this is where Mike comes in, and it's like, we got to get this deal done, and we've got to find a way. You got to get clever. You've got to experiment. This one, for me, guys, is always going to go to the top. And that's, you got to show up with energy. You double the energy, triple the sales. I own that domain name, doubleenergytriplesales.com. Okay, so it's something I'm incredibly. Just I remember I'd be dealing with these guys, like they're business coaches, and I'm there going, guys, I'm sitting, they're in training, and I'm sitting down, and they're kind of running the presentation. We'd leave, and I'm like, dude, come here. Like, were you falling asleep, or like what happened halfway through that appointment? Like, you got to show up, man. And I know you get tired. It's 2 hours, but you got to show up, and you got to train yourself so that when you're sitting there at the beginning. And by the way, you can't. And with that being said, you don't. The first minute you walk in with too much energy, what are you going to do? If it's the wrong personality type, you're going to break massive rapport. So you also have to be careful of that. But when it comes time to get this deal done, I can tell you, a higher level of energy is going to get more sales all day long, because what they're going to buy to a large degree is the certainty and the belief that you're not there just to get a check, that you give a crap, right? That's what's going to come across here when you show up with purpose. And in fact, Mike, agree with me totally? Yeah. So,
constrained enthusiasm.
Say again?
Constrained enthusiasm.
I love it. There we go. Man's got a term for everything. You got much better terms than I do. Okay, so showing up with energy and purpose, guys. Again, double energy, triple the sales. I've said that over 1,000 times, and I'll continue to. Puppy dog clothes. My wife, so one of my wife's best friend is a professional artist. She comes over. She's looking at our house. Not looking at our house. She's in our house, and she's having a glass of wine with my wife or whatever's going on. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I've got a painting that would look amazing on that wall," right? Of course, I'm like, "Oh my God, what's happening here?" Hang on a minute. So next thing you know, she's like, look, I've got a trade show coming up. It's in a couple months. It's just sitting in the basement. Look, why don't I come and I'll put it up on the wall, right? I knew I was in trouble when she showed up the day later with a hammer, nails, right? And she doesn't bring one painting, she brings a second, because she's like, well, look, with this one, if you put this one on the other side, it complements it perfectly. And I just happened to notice that it fit on there, right? I'll let you guys have a guess. 60 days later, she's coming to pick them up, or we're buying them. I want you to guess where the paintings are to this day, although I just moved, so they're actually in a box. But anyways, up until I moved. So the paintings are where? And my money is where? Puppy dog clothes. You guys ever heard the expression moving the free line? No. Hands up. Okay, Eben Pagan, love the guy, Eben Pagan. So moving the free line, I think it's just fabulous. So basically, if you guys ever watched the proper internet marketing launch? See the value that they give away? Like those, you don't need to buy anything. I tell you what, the tip is that you just watch their 4 videos and you've got 70% of their program, right? But they do it where it's just give them so much value. They're like, my gosh, if this is what the guy does for free, what's he going to do?
Major aha moment yesterday. Mike Filsane just ran a webinar for a new product they're doing. And he says, don't price based on your product. People will buy the bonuses. Don't get caught up in what your product is. Just layer up the bonuses. People will buy stuff just to get the bonuses.
Love it, guys.
Aha moment from like, oh.
Yeah, and well, again, and if you look, and that's like if you've got the sales copy, what's at the very end, what's in bold, which would people just, the PS, and then it's like bonus. So anyway, so moving the free line. Idea being here, guys, you may love this idea, you may hate this idea. It's worked pretty well for Tony Robbins, okay, because this is his sales process. You coach free for the first 4, and then you hit them for the payment on coaching session number 5. If you're super busy and you don't have a lot of time, this is a horrible idea. If you don't have enough coaching clients, right, and you're like, and notwithstanding a little bit of muscle sounds like a good idea, jumping on the treadmill, this could be fabulous. Because even if they sack you at the end of 4 weeks so they don't take you on, you just learned how to coach at a higher level. And imagine step number 1, the energy, the purpose, and the intensity you would roll up in those first 4 coaching calls. You'd be showing up like, wow, I got to get this thing done on the 5th deal. And you'd get them some results, you'd put some money in the bank, and let's say that you're working with we're on chiropractors, so we'll go with chiropractors. You're working with a chiropractor, he doesn't take you on. How much more certainty and how much more certain are you to the next chiropractor when you sit down that you can get them results like this? So then it comes back to the muscle, right? The cold calling type of, using the cold calling as a metaphor as opposed to direct, just get in there and do this stuff. Yeah, Tori? Jab, left hook.
And that's a really nice way to do it too, without moving the free line. So it's your give.
So,
but you
hit.
have to sell. You have to be able
Totally.
to right hook and sell. But if you give, people almost don't even see that the right hook.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point too, and it's like jab. And then it's like, you're like, let's just picture the jabs are just unbelievable, right? Like, ooh, ooh, ooh. And then it comes time for the left hook. And then what happens to our energy, our purpose? We're like, because you're asking for the money. Like you've got to elevate that level of certainty in the, you know what I mean, your coaching relationship. You got to step up the energy, not step down the energy. And if you're the average salesperson, you're dramatically stepping down the energy. That's no good. So when it comes time to sell, you know, coaching session 5, you got to rock and roll. But of course, you would have. I mean, when I say you show up, it's not like you like magically give them this idea on, you know, coaching call number 5, they're going to pay you. You explain in coaching call 1, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to provide you a month for free. It's basically a puppy dog. You just tell them flat out, it's a puppy dog close. If you like it, we're going to keep working. If you think I suck, don't answer my phone call. It's all good. Anyway, so puppy dog close could work very, very well. Scripts, you need an opening script. You need a list of questions to, you know, you just need to have your process refined, and it can be adjusted and tweaked, obviously, but you want an opening script. You need what's going to happen in the middle, which is your 8 strategies and your 45-minute turnaround and your ability to, you know, disarm them and then notwithstanding disrupt them a little bit, because somebody in status quo is not going to be spending 24 grand on you. And then you need a close. And like I said, when it comes time for your close, like I want you to, again, I could spit out my close like in, you know, the same way my elevator pitch, my close can come out. And it's like I'm reading tonality. I'm listening to what you're saying, because most of the time it's on the phone. If you're face to face, I'm reading body language, and the words are just coming out in a purposeful, you know, intense way without being too intense for the wrong personality type, by the way. Got to read that. But at the end of the day, that's what I want you to be doing. So you got to have this stuff memorized. Don't memorize it till you got it right. I want you to memorize it until you can't get it wrong. Very, very different. Very, very different. So scripts, got to have this stuff. Scaled pricing. Here's my, just at the end of the day, you got an hour, you've got 2 hours, you got 45 minutes. You got to get the deal done, right? Traditional logic, and I don't disagree with this, but my experiences are probably a little bit different in that, you know how you'd say that, well, look, if they don't pay for it and they start at like let's say you're $2,000 a month for your coaching, and you go, look, the deal's not going to get closed at $2,000 right here, right now. And if it is, it's not getting closed anytime soon. Like, you're going to be there for a while. Objection handling, and then what can happen sometimes if your objection handling and your close happens a little bit too late on the call, and they've got somebody else to get to, or the kids are going to be coming home, you lose that opportunity. If you don't get the deal in the moment, it's done, right? So a great way to get coaching deals done is to say, well, look, let's do this. I'm $2,000 a month. Pay me literally, I will give you 5 months to get to my fees. $200, $400, $800, $1,600, then $2,000. You don't pay me my full fees for 5 months. That's how confident I am I'm going to be able to help you. Right? And again, this isn't number one. I can see Mike is like, hang on a minute, I'm going to stand up and straighten this guy out. But no, so it's obviously not the way you understand. There's a big difference between like an objection and a no, right? Because all of a sudden people start lowering prices too quick, and we've all seen that, right? That's not it. It should be done at the right time, and too early is not necessarily the case. But I've got you on the phone for an hour. I've got you for 45 minutes or 2 hours. With 15 minutes to go, it's ready to rock and roll, and I want to get her done, and I want to leave myself, a solid 5 minutes at the end, if not a little bit more, to make sure that I can handle your objections. Well, you got to bring the hammer down. The kids might be coming. The phone might be ringing. The other appointment might come up. Scaled pricing can get that done. The other thing that I will hear, though, is that, yeah, Carl, okay, but if you sign up your coaching clients and they start paying $200, I don't know how comfortable they're going to be at $2,000, right? That's not my experience whatsoever. In that, like ones that pay me $2,000 don't show up for the calls. The one that pay me $200 don't miss and continue on for like a number of years is what I'm getting at. So, but hey, these are my experiences. Mike's definitely got his. Adrian's got his. You've got yours. So you guys, test and measure and see what you like, but you want to get that deal done. And if you're not a seasoned sales guy, quote unquote, again, this could be your holy grail. And I can tell you, you asked Jason Economides, which most of you would have heard of him, very popular guy amongst our community. We met him, he had a full-time job. He has told me, and this is just like in the last couple of weeks, that is one, because basically we sat down and we did some, a little bit more intense than what we'd normally do on a call, because he wanted some help with some particular stuff. He said that has bloody been magic for him. And his experiences have been that, well, just basically he's getting more deals done, end of story, without going into the whole rigmarole. This is something that I would at least be considering, if not experimenting with, if I was you. Actually, and just quickly, one more beautiful point. Let's say that you're right now $1,000 a month, because you're not you're just, this is where you're comfortable at $1,000 a month, but you'd love to be $2,000 a month. With the scaled pricing, it's going to be easier for you to close at 2. Like, why stop at $1,000? Why stop at 2? Why not stop at 5? By the way, right? So if you like the idea of getting a higher price, notwithstanding you're an excellent coach and getting wicked results, this could be a lot easier way for you to demand the higher prices. And of course, remember, a team. The solution for a lot of your problems, guys, is hiring a staff member, a salesperson. Well, you're like, what are the chances of them being as good as you at sales? Like, slim to none. Okay, so again, this can be a really good little trick to be able to help them, A, get the deals done, and then B, be able to command your fees of $2,000 a month, whereas right now they're not comfortable. So scale pricing can work. A guarantee, look, goes without saying, money back. But see, the other thing, you can put like a results-based guarantee, but understand that if you're my client and I put together a business plan and you didn't have a business plan when I showed up, guess what? That's a result. Right? Like, a result is not necessarily money straight in your bank account. I mean, clearly that's the best result, and I'm not encouraging that we shy away from that, because nobody screams that louder from the mountaintops than I, that, you know, we're there to help these guys profit. But I would encourage you to be thinking about, you know, just guarantees can get these deals done, but you can have a results-based guarantee that doesn't have to be straight money in the bank account. Scarcity, you guys are not using this as well as you need to. Okay, it's just one of the major things that you need to have. You guys are a coach. If you don't have a coach right now, you can handle 15 clients max. Maybe you can handle 20, but then you're Superman, right? So if you can handle 15 only, there is scarcity right here, right now in your coaching business. We'll make sure that you promote it, right? So when I'm going to close you, it's like, look, we're doing this for 20 guys. We've already got 18 signed up. If you want to be one of the last 2, I've got a mile long, you know. You were at the event the other day, right? And we've got, you know, there's 25 people in the room. Don't think for a second there's not a few others, you know, keen on signing me. So you either want to rock and roll or you don't. Scarcity is something that you need. And most people, because they're not natural salespeople, feel a little bit, you know, unauthentic and whatnot when they do it. Well, I look at it another way. Again, my brother committed suicide when I was 16 years old over a business failing. You're saving lives. You're saving marriages. You're keeping kids off streets. Right? So there is, you have scarcity, make no mistake about it. So you're doing them a favor, scaled pricing, guaranteed, scarcity, you know, helping these guys get the deals done. Okay, remember, 500,000 businesses are started in North America over 12 months. 250 are going belly up. How does that make dad feel? How does that make mom feel? What are the kids thinking about? Hey, where did the business cards go? What's going on? Why is there a sign coming off the truck? It's an incredibly painful experience for a family, especially the kids, because they get affected. They're not stupid. They see this stuff. That's, you know, this. So when we're making our cold calls and whatnot, maybe get a little bit more inspired when you're thinking along those lines. And I truly believe that in my heart of heart. I know you guys know that, but I can't begin to tell you, and I'd like you guys to embody that as well. Remember, my last presentation, I talked about your why. If you want to wake up at 5 a.m. instead of 7 a.m., get a why, not an alarm clock. Right? Adrian is up at 5 a.m. every morning at the gym, and he goes to the gym, and what do you think he's listening to? What do you think he's reading? You know, this stuff. That's how he gets these. Does anybody else get spun out when they see Adrian come on stage, by the way? You ever talk to Adrian one-to-one? He's reasonably, you know, I don't know, shy is the wrong word, but he's not the most outspoken guy in the world, right?
Reserved.
And then he's reserved, perfect. And then he comes up here, and it's like, whoosh, it's like, who is that guy? Who is that masked man up there? What's that? Mick Jagger. Moves like Jagger. That's it. Contingency. Again, guys, magic here. Magic, okay? You're trying to close me, okay? And you're $2,000 a month. Put a 20% contingency on the back end, a 10% contingency, a 7% contingency. Makes you significantly more expensive. But guess what will happen? Your conversions will go up. Why? The contingency sounds like they're getting a business partner for free. You're the rock star. You're the coach. You're the guy with all this experience or the gal with all this experience. Trust me, they want you on board and they want you working with them, right? So the contingency is magic because, again, it literally, like we've had this in-house. You can ask Adrian, like our conversions went up significantly when we built a little bit of contingency into it, right? So closing deal. Anybody feel like I've missed anything here in terms of conversions, in particular, Mike? Anything, there's something you want on there?
No.
Well, maybe.
Is that based on profit or revenue?
Look, either or, revenue. See, the things when you're working with them, what can they do to profit? Manipulate the heck being the important word, right? So, you know, you do gross revenue, and then, you know, you get a nice little, clearly that number is going to be significantly lower. So it's really, and by the way, we've got accountants and bookkeepers in the room and people with experience, like, you know, the Bens and the Dougs and the Eileens of the world and the Glennises, Gigi, right? So, you know, I'm not an accountant's backside, right? So I mean, this is not, so gross revenues are going to be easier and tighter. So yeah,
The only
Keep
thing I
it-
would say is start pricing high. Even if you're gonna do scaled pricing, start with your most expensive package.
totally. Okay, yeah, you hear that? Very good. So Mike's just said start high. Go scale pricing. Okay, cool. It's got to happen. It's got to happen. But start high and come down. Don't go, don't go in low and then come up. It's probably as I say it sounds, oh well, that's obvious, but that's not.
Yeah, but if
That's
you drop your price, you have to change the package.
yes.
You can't just lower.
Otherwise,
the
you
price.
look lame.
Right.
Yeah, you're just like, well, what you were ripping me off a minute ago.
Sorry, can you just, what do you mean by that? Yeah.
So let's say I have a 5,000, let's say my premium package is $5,000.
Right.
All right, and maybe that gives them 2 hours a week, up to 2 hours a week and blah, 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 you know, right? Well, now if I'm gonna have a $2,500 package, there's gonna be a few less deliverables, may not be giant significance, but they're only gonna get an hour of my time each week. At $1,500, they're gonna get 30 minutes of my time, or an hour every other, whatever it is. It's just, there has to be a distinguishable difference between each level. Because you can't, if I'm charging $5,000, and then I say, well, okay, you can't afford 20, I'll do it for $2,500. Well, was I ripping them off at $5,000?
Right, but what we're talking about here is like scaled pricing.
It's
This is-
different. I'm gonna go $5,000, I'm gonna find their barometer. First off, I have a reason for going $5,000 and I'm gonna come down to
Right, but
2,500 anyway.
we're creating a different package around pricing, that's what we're doing here.
But I can offer the $2,500 package with scaled pricing. I can say, hey, you know what, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna do one for you. I really, really believe in you and what you're doing and I
Yep.
wanna help. So I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you 5 months to get to my regular price and we'll start you out. I'm gonna do this crazy, we're gonna start you out at $200 to month this, 400 next, boom, 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 boom. I'll prove to you this is worth it and you're there.
Yeah,
That you can do. Scaled pricing isn't the same.
it's different. Yeah.
How long do you do contingency agreement for? So, 1 year, 2 years, 3
Yeah,
years?
life of the, as long as you're there, you're getting your contingency. Absolutely.
So when the client coaching contract ends.
What's that?
So when the coaching contract.
Yeah, but the idea is that this is the beauty. Like, you don't want recurring like, you know what I mean? You don't, like, you want a commitment for a minimum of 12 months, but I don't, at month 13, man, I'm just showing up. I'm like, hey, man, so what do you think? One of the biggest mistake coaches make is they charge hourly fees and then, like, sell these, like, packages of 5 and whatnot. Huge mistake.
No, I'm just.
Yeah, no.
You need to be clear.
The answer is ongoing.
Huh? Ongoing.
Contingency ongoing with your clients. The whole idea.
Only if you're still coaching.
Well, once again, this is the paperwork, but like, what do you want to do? And the answer is you want the contingency. Like, if
put
you,
in an incredible strategy and they
Yep.
actually don't need you anymore.
Yep.
And they could cut you and they're making.
exactly. So that would, so what would makes,
Yeah.
yeah, so it would make sense that they, do you know what I mean? Like, they literally want to cut, like, you don't want to set an agreement where you can get cut out of it. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
So, without question, this, and then, by the way, the client also doesn't want you not motivated to come up with, the lights out big idea. Yeah. Elliot?
Yeah, on the contingency,
Sorry.
how often would you evaluate? Obviously, they have to show you the books. And how often
Quarterly.
do you get paid up?
Yeah, quarterly.
Quarterly.
Simple. Yeah, and that's very stock standard, quarterly.
I think it was Mike that said yesterday, somebody said yesterday that they asked for contingency but never expect it. Like, should we honestly go in with that attitude?
Well,
That, like, good luck
okay.
getting it, but.
Yeah.
I just don't
No.
care. It's a negotiating point.
It's exactly, so, guys, this is really good point. But it is, yes. You're gonna have, look, here's a scoop. You're gonna sign up 20 coaching clients, you're gonna have one or two home runs, right? That's where you want it to be, and this is where you're gonna make all the dough. The rest of them, it's gonna be, you know what I mean? It's probably gonna put a strain on the coaching relationship overall else, because it's not that exciting, and the $2,000 is a stretch anyways. So, you know what I mean? I want the $2,000. Like, I wanna sign up 10 people at $2,000 a month, make $240,000 a year and have like a relaxed life. Go to 7 figures, we need to start building products and that sort of stuff. So it comes back to, what do you want? What's the outcome, right? But if you want to have this killer business, so the contingency is a tool. It's in here under conversions, right? Because it's a tool to convert, but there will be a couple of home runs and you're gonna win big time. Make sense? Yes, Elliot.
Yeah, one of the issues I've run into with a couple of people, get started with them and they just literally won't do the work.
They what?
They won't do the work.
Yeah. Get.
Then the question comes in, of course,
Room for a
sign up
night.
for contingency, how long do you give them? If they've signed up for monthly, as long as they're paying you, I mean, to
Yep.
a degree, that's okay.
Yep.
Because it's their money, I mean, it's their loss.
Yep.
But
And you got to give them the papers. This is it. And this has been,
How do you recover from the contingency on that? Because you don't say I'm not making any money. Well, of course, my response to them is.
okay, you were getting your grand or $2,000 a month along the way. So there's no recovery. Yep, there's no recovery. It's just you were getting, because again, keep in mind, as you know, you build a coaching company and you consistently get $2,000 a month with your client, you're going to be a happy camper.
Yeah, what you really want.
This might be a little bit nuts. What do you do when people just want a break, or they say, I just need 1 month off?
Beautiful question.
Whether they're taking vacation or something, my car broke
Yeah.
down, something major happened, major illness. Do you give them that break and make them pay, or do you?
No, look, I mean, once again, every situation is unique. Question is like, so I get a coaching client and all of a sudden Christmas comes, summer comes, and they want to take a little bit of a break. So you do is you have you bring it down to like $250 a month. So they're paying you $2,000, go, look, in order to stay on the books, I still have to do paperwork and, yeti. So I'll bring you down to $250 and then we're going to resume. But rather than take a month off, I feel like you need 2 months off. This is how I would spin it. You need 2 months off, so I'm going to put you at $250 for 2 months, and we'll start out 2 weeks early, just because I'm a good gal, I'm a good guy, and then we'll keep this thing going. Is that good? And that will work right there. Yes.
So I've also positioned it in that scenario where it's a 12-month. It's a 12-month financial commitment, but there's only 10 months of coaching.
Yep.
I need to sharpen my axe, and I need holidays, and so do you. But I'm allowing you to pay it over 12 months.
Yep.
Then the other thing to the other point was that we're all going to be able to paint our practice, our business any way we want, so we need to be flexible, adaptable, and pliable, I think.
Yeah, love it. Agreed. So again, we could talk about this ad nauseum.
Yeah, well, I was just going to respond from her
Yeah.
question, because I had a client like that.
Yep.
I started working with a client, we were 2 months in, and she came back to me and said, Elliot, I just can't do it this month.
This month,
Can we
that's what I have.
Can we take a month off? And I said, I'll tell you what, can you do, she was paying me $1,000 a month. I said, can you do $250 now and pay me the rest as we get moving through? She
Yeah.
said, yes, I can do that. The problem I saw in her was, if she had quit, she never would have come back.
I think that's my.
100%.
And a year and a half later now, she readily admits, we've been working out for over 2 years, but
She wouldn't have come back.
she wouldn't have come back.
Yeah.
But, because she still.
And she wouldn't have. There's no question. Yeah, it's critical. So again, and look, you need to be fast and flexible, right? You need to be flexible and on your toes here. Okay, guys, so very quickly, so now results. Okay, if you want to get results for your clients, one of the things it's all well and good to go in there and provide, look, we got to do market dominating position and this sort of stuff. If there's a tough conversation that they have to have with a client, go in there and have that first. You're going to get a small win. You're going to get a client on board. You've got that conversation in their head, and you're looking after it for them. You're doing your job. If you go in there and start working on the stuff that they hate, marketing, and that's what they need, but unfortunately, we got to put a few little small wins in, small wins. Also, profits, guys. Again, if I was coaching your business, the first thing that I would do is I would go in there because I want to pay my way. I'm charging you $2,000 a month. I want to be an investment. I want to pay my way straight away. So, what we do is 3 months of your credit card statement, and literally just going through and just finding ways that we can save some dough. And you're going to find there's going to be subscriptions they're no longer using. There's going to be all kinds of, again, this is say that they're buying a particular product, hair products, and they're buying them from 6 different suppliers. I'm going to be like, let's do one, and let's buy in quantity, and let's pay up front, and let's take advantage of discounts, and let's not have 6 lots of bookwork and 6 people coming in and interrupting you and saying hi and wanting to give you a kiss on the cheek and run around and you making coffee for them, right? None of that. So basically going through their statement and wiping away a few bucks. The magic of this is, guys, let's say that you got a business, and you heard this a little bit yesterday, but you got a business they got 20% margins, and then you find them a 10% break. Again, like they're paying credit card, 18% fees on their credit card from disorganization, not lack of cash flow, not taking advantage of discounts, because they kind of didn't realize that 5% up front would be like over the course of 12 months, 3 years, a huge number. So not worried about it. It's like, 5%, who cares, right? They offer 50% at the retail store. I'm not going to bother. You shave that. You take somebody from a 20% margin to a 30% margin. Last year, they made $100,000 of profit, okay? In my incredibly poor math skills, I was like, oh, well, it's $100,000. It just became 110. How cool. Not even close. That is not a 10% increase. That is a 50% increase, right? How beautiful is that? So if I made 100 grand last year and there's a 50% increase for you going through my credit card statement with me, how much did I now make without adding another sale? 50 grand, 150 grand, right? How cool is that? How much are you at 2 grand? What are you? 24 grand. They just made $26,000 of profit. So what I do with my clients is I would sit down and I have this in the back of my head. I know this is what I'm going to do. I say, look, if I can provide this result for you, in other words, I could double my investment or at least cover my investment in the first 60 days of working with you, I want a gentleman's agreement because I normally don't do it until the 6-month mark. No matter what happens, no matter how many coaching calls you can't make, no matter how overwhelmed you get, no matter how many staff leave or come in or how big this company gets, you will not stop paying me under any circumstances my 2 grand just for the 12 months. Agreement, and now I go through their, now I give them the, the quick fix of the credit card statement. Here's another way that I do, but you get what I did there, right? So up front, and by the way, what happens at the 6-month mark, 8-month mark, 12-month mark with many clients? They stop showing up, they say they're overwhelmed, they're falling behind, and they say, look, can I have a break or can I cancel, right? Or I'm gonna cancel. You lose your client, well, that's fine, but all of a sudden you're now getting paid for an extra 6 months without even having to show up at the coaching calls. Pretty cool? Okay, this one, Old Faithful. If your client has been in business for longer than 12 months, this is a bit of magic in my opinion. The number one, and mark this one down, guys, test me on this one. I'd welcome it. Test me. The number one lead generation that they had when they originally got the business going, guess what? They're no longer doing it. Dead set, whether it be cold calls, a particular advertisement, what have you.